Hey everybody, welcome to episode 71 of FoundersGyan and thanks for tuning in. Each week we talk to the founder of an interesting startup, and this week we are talking to Vineet Arya, who had earlier come on a previous episode, that is episode 70, when we discussed about outsourcing non-core functions. You can check that out at foundersgyan.com/EP70. Today's topic for discussion though is something very relevant to all startups, and that is low-cost marketing for startups. You can check out the show notes over at foundersgyan.com/EP71 for all that we talk about on the show. Alright, let's get started. So Vineet, thanks again for coming back on the show. So you're the first person to come back on the show, and I hope not the last. Yeah. So thank you so much. Now for some of our listeners who may not have heard the previous episode, could you just give a quick 1-minute intro to yourself and your company, and if people want to know more, they can go back to the previous episode and get a more in-depth.
Right. Thanks, Ram, for having me again, and I'll be I'll give a small introduction about myself. My name is Vineet Arya, and I'm a 20 plus years expert in marketing brand communications, and I run my own company called OutSourcing, wherein we work with the early stage startups, and we as a team function as a CMO of that organization, working inside the organization and fulfilling the objective and mandate of marketing, lead generation, anything to do with marketing for that company. The primary USP of this model is that you get experienced resources like Vineet and myself to work for you at a fraction of a cost, and helps you in scale up the marketing much faster as against hiring your own team.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much, Vineet, for that intro. Now, today's topic is low-cost marketing for startups. So this is right up your alley. It's marketing, and we are going to throw in a bonus for startups by talking about low-cost marketing, because startups want everything for free. Yep. Next best is low cost. You can't get everything for free. So now let's start by defining low-cost marketing. I mean, what is low cost for, say, Bill Gates may not be low cost for you and me. So what is like a benchmark when we say low cost marketing?
All right, Ram. So I'll take a step back and say, whenever I meet a lot of startups saying that, Vineet, you're so experienced, right? And you're working at such a low cost. Can you just tell me what is that something I can do marketing for free? My friends, I want to tell you there are a lot of tools of marketing that you can do it for free. For example, Facebook doesn't charge anything if you want to post something on your wall. LinkedIn doesn't charge anything that you want to post something. Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, right? There's so many. Quora, right? Trust me, these tools, if used effectively by you or by your team or by your employees or your friends, family, it does help. So the first tip in when I say free marketing is that if you're a startup, you're working on a concept and you have things in mind, start writing yourself, right? You start and ask your friends to like it, share it, so that the reach increases. It will cost nothing, right? Yes, you may think that, if I write, only 10 people will see, but you're promoting your product or services to 10 people for free, right? So use these tools wherever you can, wherever, and a lot of portals which also allows you to, write articles, pitch for yourself, do it. Medium, right. So do it. These are all tools. We have zero cost.
Right. Only cost is time and effort, right? You have to take the time and effort to.
Which anyway you are doing it for your own self, right? So take some time out. For example, I myself make it a point that I spend 1 hour on all these tools every day, just sharing my experiences or some tips, and slowly the you will suddenly feel that there were 10 people following you, now there are 100, there are 200, there are 300. It'll take some time,
right?
But at least something is better than nothing. So don't feel shy. Don't feel
shy to express yourself. You might be wrong, you might be right, but who's to define what's
absolutely
right and wrong?
Absolutely. In marketing there's nothing right and nothing wrong. use these tools wherever it is possible.
Right.
Non-paid media, use it effectively.
Right.
Maximize it to your own potential. Like for example, if you're a company, you have let's say a team of 50 people, right? And you want to share something, ask all those 50 people to share it on their wall. So your reach goes to 100, then all those 50 share it with somebody. So it's have a multiplier effect, right? One customer comes to you because of that. That's a bonus.
Absolutely.
Right?
And that would be the free tier. Now let's move on to the next step. So what is the next step? Okay, once we have exhausted these free options, right? And we feel that we need something a bit more.
See, now you'd ask this question, what is low cost, right? So low cost has a lot of meaning, right? For example, if a company has a budget of $100 million and they want to achieve that in $5 million, it's a low cost for them. But if a company has only $1 million to spend and he wants to achieve it in, let's say, 10K, it's a low cost for them. So parameters of low cost is define yourself, right? There are a lot of expensive medium in marketing, like newspaper advertising, radio advertising, TV advertising. These are mediums which are expensive, and obviously not many people can afford it, because effectiveness of this medium also comes when you sustain it for a certain period of time, right? If you just give one ad in the newspaper or one advertisement in one channel for one day, it's like a minuscule drop in the whole ocean, right?
True.
So obviously I'm not going to talk about that medium, because there are a lot of many people who would advise to talk,
right. And probably this podcast is not the right
channel.
If you have so much money, please get in touch with me.
I'll be more than happy to guide you that, right? But the thing is, one of the key things that you should start with, always have one goal in mind, that when you're starting, how can you get traffic or customers organically? All right. What is that? Obviously the product or service plays a huge role. If the product or service is very nice, people will tend to use it and obviously talk good things about it, refer it. So make sure that this word organic growth, every morning you repeat it, because the moment you say organic, automatically there are 10 things that will come into your mind. Now, what are the things?
Okay, so before we go into that, when it's organic, I just want to share a quick thought. It's a useful tip, so I think I'll get it out before I forget it. So if your product or service is nice, and like Vineet said, people will recommend it and there will be word of mouth, make sure that there is an easy way for people to share your product or service, right? Because nobody is going to take the effort to type an email to a friend saying, hey, you know what, this product is good. You should have something within your product that will help them post it on Facebook or Twitter, whatever, sharing, or send an email, refer a friend, etc., etc., etc. So that's one point I just want, sorry Vineet, to
no problem.
Bump in. I thought it was an important point.
Yeah, so Ram, I just want to expand that point. In marketing, we always say, if a product is good and people find it utility, find it beneficial for them, or they've given some really usefulness, seldom people does not make a noise about a product which is good. If the product is bad, they will ensure they go out of the way to badmouth it.
Post bad reviews.
Right, post bad reviews. And we have seen it. I mean, you open Facebook, you open Twitter, you open things, a lot of people will badmouth about this product. I didn't get this service, that service, product was bad and all that. Why? Because he was a dissatisfied customer. The first rule in marketing which I always advise, if a product is good and the person is satisfied, please reach out to your customer. Ask him, please share his viewpoints. If the product is really good and you reach out in a very humble, polite manner, even if 50% of the customer responds, take it and you post it in the various social media.
Right? Ask for a testimonial from your customer.
Right. Don't just sit and relax saying that my product is good. If a person will write on their own, it doesn't happen.
You have to actively seek out.
You have to actively seek out, right? And if the product is bad, right, and if there is some issue, I mean, there can be a lot of issues with the product. I mean, it's a human. It is a natural stuff to happen. Then also reach out to the person, right? most often a dissatisfied customer, if you call them up and ask him and just talk to him for 2 minutes, take it in writing from me, I can bet it, he will become a satisfied customer. The only thing is we need to reach out to him, address his concern. Okay, most of the time you'll feel these concerns were not the logical concerns. It was maybe by impulsiveness he came out of it. Maybe the product that was meant to be used was not used. Let's say for example, if there is a company where the person was supposed to make a visit to for installation of a product, he comes late. Now they can be a very genuine reason, but if the person talks out saying that, sorry sir, I got stuck in the traffic, no person will mind it. But if you don't really voice it out, person say that he is deliberately late. Right? So make sure customer engagement is the key thing in all the scenarios. Currently, when you are a startup, you will have a less set of customers, so it's very easy for you to reach out to each one of them personally. And then when you become big, that thing should not get neglected.
Right.
You can make a process out of it. You always have to be on the top of the mind of the customer. If you're always there, don't just sit and wait for the customer to respond. Right? Because he might have used your product or service. He may not use it every day. He may now require your product and service after this 3 months or 6 month cycle. But even if in between that you're somehow engaging with the customer, the next time he uses it, he will not even think of other brands. So the best way to strike out or for the marketing, which I really call this as a zero cost marketing, is make sure that you are completely and regularly engaged with the customer, whether, and not always meant that you have to sell everything to him.
Right.
You have to devise a way of mechanism of a two-way communication. Right? This is how you will make your product or service viral.
Yes, so I think we got a little sidetracked, so let's get back to what we were talking about, which is like
organic growth.
Right.
Yes. So, nowadays everybody wants to make his own website, right? When the product, because that's website becomes your virtual office, right? It's like a store. When the person comes to the offline store, you make him given the experience. So website also gives you an experience, right? So one of the things that you should do and invest early is the SEO, right? You know what? People understand what SEO is, and I don't need to talk about that. There are a lot of SEO experts in the industry. But when you build up a site, at that point of time, make it SEO architecture friendly. Right? I talk it as this is a basic foundation. So let's say, for example, when you're building a huge building, your foundation of the building has to be strong, right? So if you're building up a website, your UI, UX and SEO plays a huge role in future for getting the customers onto your website, right? And that is where the basic fundamentals start from. I've seen a lot of people saying that, I'll build a website, but I'll concentrate on SEO in the second phase. I said, why not the first one? Why do you want to postpone to the second phase? Because if you postpone to the second phase, then probably you'll have to make twice the more efforts that you would have done in the phase one.
Right.
To get the architecture of the website fixed at the time of building the website itself. I have myself seen so many mistakes being done. People they understand the importance of SEO, but they don't know when to start.
Right.
This is the first step, as important as building a website. Okay, because then what happens is, if you've done that, then it becomes easy for you to do content marketing. Right? This is another low cost growth hack that I'm talking about.
Anyway, you're building your website, so invest some additional time and effort to make it SEO friendly.
Because the moment it is up and done, immediately do content marketing. Because content marketing can be done at a very, very low cost. Because what you're trying to do is use you are the best judge for your own product. Nobody can write or know the product or service better than anybody else. If you have the skill have a flair for writing, start writing blogs, start putting the content on LinkedIn Pulse, start writing on Facebook, although Google doesn't pick up the keywords on the Facebook, but then start writing on other portals, right? But before that, first identify 20, 30, 40 top keywords. Okay, make sure that every content has at least 5 to 10 keywords injected into it, and create as many backlinks with your website, as many backlinks. There's no end to it. so that it's stuck to that.
Related to your product keywords. Don't do a click and bait.
Right. Use Quora, for example. Quora is the world biggest knowledge sharing platform currently, and the keyword search by Google is huge.
Right.
Huge there.
Right. These days, I think Quora is like replacing kind of Wikipedia in terms
Absolutely.
of, you know, if I have some doubts or something, I usually search in Google and I add the keyword Quora a lot of times because I want to hear what the other person experts are saying, you know.
So these are the things that, and you know what, these are the things that Google looks at it and throws back people onto your website. So your objective should be, how can you drive traffic from outside world to your website?
Right.
If you increase the traffic to your website,
right,
okay, by doing all these growth hacks that I call about, then you can immediately start doing retargeting. Even if the person comes to your website, then it becomes easy for you to follow it wherever he is going. So which means when you start doing your digital marketing, which means the paid marketing, you get much better results than you just start from the scratch. Because if the website traffic has increased, these are the people who came to your website. You spend a lot of time in analytics, which are the pages that he spent time on, which are the sections that he just viewed, and then follow it up accordingly. See, most of the time marketing, what we make a mistake is we do marketing and we start promoting a product or a service to the people without even knowing whether he wants it. So if I am looking for a printer online and you start throwing me ads for a TV, doesn't make sense. Right. So even if you show lesser number of people, the chances of the conversion will be very high.
So do proper analysis of what they are looking at in your site. I mean, you might have a single product or service, but maybe they are looking at some specific portion of that product or service. So
correct, right? And there are small things like if a person is there on the website on one single page for 30 seconds, 40 seconds, immediately you can throw up a pop-up saying that, hey, can I help you? Or give him an offer, right? Or give him some referral schemes and all that, right? So the person is there on the website, but he's indecisive.
Right.
So you may not actually, these are the things where you even don't want to do any digital marketing. Just concentrate on incoming traffic. Just concentrate on incoming.
Right. So you would say use tools like list builders, maybe get their email.
There are a lot of retargeting, remarketing,
chatbots.
Yeah. Even if you don't want to do chatbot initially, you can have a manual person talking to him because you will actually know what the problem is and all that. That's fine, right? There are a lot of retargeting, remarketing tools. Again, it depends on what volumes you are talking about, right? That can be used, but these are the things. So the premise that I'm trying to talk, Ram, here is these are the things that you can drive traffic to your website without paying any cost.
Right.
But when the person comes to your website, we should not ignore it because
we should not waste that opportunity
and ensure that you follow it up with him, and then you will know where all it is he going, and probably then give him targeted ads, which will help drive your conversions.
Right. Okay. If you like this show, do follow us on Facebook and Twitter. The link is www.facebook.com/FoundersGyan and twitter.com/FoundersGyan. Both these provide you daily tips and articles as well as resources to help and inspire your startup. There are multiple tips per day. Some examples of these tips would be articles on the latest startups, growth hacking tips, how do you build team for startups, how to get funding, etc. So don't forget facebook.com/FoundersGyan and twitter.com/FoundersGyan. So maybe let's now talk about paid marketing, so how effective are like these paid marketing? Like, I mean, there are tons, there are Google AdWords, obviously, that's one, Twitter, LinkedIn, almost everybody has a paid ad, I think we should also start paid ads on our site. So how effective are these? I mean, again, I know it depends from company to company, from startup to startup, but one specific question I had that I wanted to ask you was with regards to Facebook likes on your page. I know there is an option to buy likes to your page.
Never do that.
Yes, so people kind of do that to gain numbers so that when somebody comes, it looks like so many people are there on their site, because I see like some small startups with thousands of likes. I don't know who comes and likes, you know.
I'm personally never recommend anybody to buy those likes, right? It's always good to have organic likes. See, what happens is, first of all, in the social media, Ram, you need to identify the personality of each medium. LinkedIn has its own personality, Quora has its own personality, Twitter has its own personality, Facebook has its own personality, and we have to be very, do the marketing depending on the personality. So what happens is, Facebook, for example, of lately, if you've seen, video content is working wonderfully, right? Because people don't like to read long things. Although, writing a lot of big content, if you're writing content, make sure that you are giving some in-depth information. And in the end, you should have one or two key takeaways in all your content. Because if a person is spending 10 minutes, 15 minutes to read the content, he is in dire need of information. And if that information is not given to him, right, this is the biggest advantage of writing a blog or a content. But when it comes to video, you need to be short, crisp, and you should be able to deliver the message. The research shows that you have only first 7 seconds to grab the attention of the consumer. If you lose those 7 seconds, he will not move further.
He's already scrolled down,
right? Or he's put off, right? Because he thinks that it's not worth watching further, right? So make sure that you get the attention of what you want to communicate to the customer in the first 7 seconds. So coming back to the personality of each and every medium, the Facebook is a mass medium. Massive number of people are there on the Facebook. Now, if you see more, what are the things that trail on the Facebook? Facebook initially, used to be very informative, but now the people are talking everything about politics, religion, sports, everything has been talked about. So you have to be very careful. If you are a B2B company, I don't think so Facebook is the right medium for you. Right? If you are a fashion, you have something imaginary where you can display and you can grab the attention, Facebook is the right medium. But if it's something very informative, I don't think so Facebook is the right medium. Probably LinkedIn is the right medium. Right? That doesn't mean that you should not have a Facebook account, but then you have a very limited information. Don't waste your time. Don't do Facebook ads, for example, there. Right? LinkedIn, for example, is the biggest utility of LinkedIn nowadays is to search for jobs.
Right.
Which means that there is a huge amount of middle, senior and senior level people logging onto the Facebook. Now, LinkedIn is being LinkedIn, yes. So the LinkedIn is being used primarily during the daytime, where the person is in office. Moment the person goes back home, then he probably browses on Facebook and all that. So again, you have to see
the
timing of the right. So probably if I have to post something on LinkedIn, I will resist anything doing it from Saturday and Sunday. Right? So these are the small things, Ram. Like Twitter, for example. Twitter is a very good information channel. Right? If you have to give a corporate information, Twitter is a channel that you can probably throw it back. And all these things that I'm talking about, Instagram, for example. Instagram is a thing which people like to follow a celebrity, right? But unless you get something which is very exciting, because the tone of the Instagram is that there is a lot of youngsters, young teenagers, early 20 guys there, right? So if your product is something in that thing and you're able to relate with those, Instagram is the right medium, right? So these are small things which logically people don't tend to understand. I've seen a lot of marketers actually making a mistake, considering all the channels as a medium of communication. They're all the channels which are medium of communication, but you have to choose the right medium.
So basically what I hear you say is that each of these mediums have different personalities, and so a startup and the founder should spend time researching each of these mediums and trying to understand what is the personality and what kind of content should be posted on each medium. Don't just post the same content everywhere.
Absolutely.
That's not going to work. But that seems like to me like a lot of in-depth work. So what are some tips that you can give us so that we don't get confused? A startup founder is trying to do 10 different things, and on top of that he has to learn about 10 different channels for marketing. Seems like a big stretch, right?
So first of all, as I told you, there are already two things: how to use the social media effectively. I've talked about that. SEO, content marketing, I've talked about that. Before that, first there's something called KYC, know your customers, right? It is very important to know your customers. You cannot say my customer is everybody in this country. No, I don't buy that point. You need to define whether it's customer is between what age group, what are you targeting at, and when you start off with, you want to start off with which part of the country, right? If you're based out of Bangalore, probably you want to start off with the Bangalore crowd and all that. Then first, when you segregate your TG, which is target audience, then you figure it out what does a person do on a day-to-day basis. Figure out what are the touch points, right? A person wakes up in the morning, he reads a newspaper, right? Then he goes into the car, he listens to the radio, then there are hoardings. When he enters into the office, there are a lot of small promotions that are going on, right? And then he comes back in the evening, right? And then he watches TV. So you will find at least 20 different mediums for you as a brand to get the attention of the customer. Now then you start segregating which are the expensive ones and which are the non-expensive ones. So for example, you may cannot afford, as I said, the outdoors or TV or radios or newspaper to start off with, but probably if, for example, I've seen using the notice boards of the corporate places or the apartment complexes very, very effectively. It doesn't cost much, but you still get to know the people. Do low cost promotions, right? You say that, okay, I'm going to target my product or my services in the northern part of the Bangalore only.
So give out handout flyers maybe.
Yeah, but then again it all depends on, you don't want to really just stand on the road and hand out flyers, because it then really feels cheap stuff, right? You need to identify that if your product is for working people, probably go into the IT parks. Target the people during the break. I will never target a person in the evening because he's in a rush to go home, right? Why do you are wasting your time? It's a lunchtime when the person is slightly more relaxed. For one of the things that I always figure it out, these e-commerce company, when they have a delivery boy going and delivering a product, why can't he just put a flyer in the 5 doors that he walks past, because he anyway is going there, and he can just put a small promotion there. Right. It doesn't cost much, right? So these are the growth hacks that you can actually look intuitively look for it.
Right. I've seen some pizza companies actually give out put flyers. So I always used to assume that they're paying somebody to go and put flyers, but now that you say, I think it's for a delivery somewhere.
Yeah, because he's anyway going, right? We just take a couple of more seconds to put up a offer on the doors of the neighbors, right? That's something. These are the small. Now again, it all depends now on the product or the service that you're in, right? So there are multiple growth hacks. For example, referral program, right? It doesn't cost much, right? It doesn't. But the thing is, you have to also promote the referral program. You cannot just sit saying that, okay, as I talk in my previous conversation, saying that if the product is good, the person is happy about it, you have to actually go and take a testimonial. But you can also ask him to refer, and then you can call up the referred person saying that, hey, I got your reference from this person and that's why I'm calling you, and would you like to take my or use my product, right? So these are the things where
Uber does a great job of that. First time, once you use them, they're so confident of their product that they are able to give that.
That's a key thing, right?
Airbnb, I've seen it. They also use it. Supposing you're a user, you can give a promotion. A lot of big companies do it, and very successfully. I think the retention rate is high. Is it?
Very, very high. Very high. See, ultimately it all depends, because you're giving a great service, right? I mean,
comes down to your service.
I'm just talking all this on the premise that you have a great service or a product.
Right, that's
a core thing, right? If it's not, that's not there, then I mean,
then
probably
you have to work on that first.
We have to work on that first, right? Absolutely right. Right. See, the other thing is that use the technology. Right, use webinars, for example, right? That's a one area that you can probably reach out to many people together, and again, it's a zero cost, right? You may now again the people tend to have 50 people on the webinars. Now, what happens is, since you're not able to figure out the people, have a shorter group of people, so that you're able to give attention to everybody. You're able to answer more questions, right? And what do consumers in today's world want? See, consumers are very, very demanding. They want attention. They want somebody to listen. If they ask questions, they want somebody to answer. And if we are not even doing the basic stuff, we are actually putting off the consumers, right? So even if you are doing one-to-many communication to start off with, make sure that you're able to handle it well, right? Even if you're giving a phone number or a number, make sure that it's never busy.
Correct.
Because customer will call up once. If the phone is busy, he will not call you back.
Right. Or make sure you call back or have an answering machine or some form of reaching back.
I trust me, wherever I go, I always talk of these basic stuffs. But somehow in the rush of the thing, people do tend to forget these basic stuffs. Right? You just talked about buying likes on the Facebook, right? I have done in Vedantu in the sense that we've got more than 100,000 likes, and all organically. We didn't even went to an agency to buy our likes, right? Because the kind of content that we are posting we knew it going to match up to the people, because I knew the KYC, I knew my customers, and we were posting the relevant content, right? Today, email marketing, right? Why can't I embed an email, a video in the email marketing? People don't read emails, right?
Right.
Because there is a tendency, if there is a video link, that probably he will click on it, right? So which means your open rate goes up, right? Second most search channel in the world after Google is YouTube.
Yes, YouTube. Yes.
Right. That's another channel, right? People should use it effectively. Right, when you're doing video marketing, I talked about video blogs. It's been working fantabulously well for the various people, right? Make sure that it is also there on YouTube, right? Like Facebook, you can have your own video. You don't need to backlink to the YouTube, right? So make use it and then promote it.
Quick question on video blogging. So do people embed YouTube videos on their blog, or do you have to use a separate Vimeo or some other?
We can use Vimeo and all that. It's not that. We can also use YouTube. It's not that. The idea is you can give a link in your blog account, right, with the introduction and then taking on to the video. Because
or you can embed it, right?
You can embed it. You can have both. You can have a written content as well as a video. Let some people decide. Some people may be still comfortable reading it. It's fair, right? But just because, and say small tip that I always give, whenever you make a video, have some text transcripts in the video, because that can also be crawled.
Correct, and that you can easily get it done online for cheap rates.
Right.
So again, video is difficult to crawl. SEO, from an SEO point of view, video is like hard to crawl, but if you can have a transcript of that, then it's the best of both worlds.
And anyway, you're spending time and money on making a video. Get it done. It doesn't cost you anything. Right. So these are small tricks, growth hacks that I always talk about. And none of these channels that I've talked about will ask you any money, right?
Correct.
You can get it done from anywhere. You can use freelancers to write some content. You can use freelance graphic designer to get some information done. So all these things can be done at a very, very low cost. And other thing is that initially, for every entrepreneur, don't even think about brand. Because what happens in the entrepreneurship life, first 2-3 years, you will do a lot of pivots. Don't talk about building brand initially. Talk about building product. Once you're stabilized on building a product, then you talk about building a brand. Because what happens is, after launch, 6 months, 1 year down the line, you might have to do changes. And if you get stuck with one brand, it might just be very tough for you.
Right. So concentrate more on the product.
More on product marketing. More on product
customers.
See, seldom. I'll tell you what. I'll give you an example. I have a startup who has a very, very low budget. We don't even spend $1 lakh every month. Right. Now, he lack of marketing budget consolidatedly, and he came to me only because he said, Vineet, I want this 1 lakh to be optimized fully. Right. I know there are a lot of people. If I give them 1 crore budget, they will do a good job. But I want somebody who can do a good job in 1 lakh. Right. Now this is where OutSourcing, or we come as an expert saying that how do we best optimize 1 lakh? Now, how much do I spend on digital marketing? How much do I spend on social media marketing? How much do I spend on SEO? Right. This is a challenge that we have. Right. And we take a call on starting. So I started with digital marketing, but then I slowly moved out of digital marketing, concentrating more on social media. I'm still not going and buying likes. I suddenly turned back and say that we'll do a lot of video marketing and content marketing. So just because you have a less money, it becomes very imperative to choose the right medium, because you have a very less room to make any mistakes or experiments. Right. And this is what the the utility comes, because if you have a budget of 1 lakh, you don't want to hire a team.
Right.
What will the guy do? And if you hire a team, you can still hire a one domain specialist, like say a digital marketing guy. But what about others? Right? So online and offline has to work in tandem. Right? People say offline is very expensive. I say no. For example, if you are targeting a vertical, give an ad only in that vertical. Don't give an ad in Times of India. Why do you need to give an ad in Times of India? There is an industry specific publications or verticals that comes in, right? Why do you want to really go mass media?
Okay, so I think we have covered a lot very useful information. We started with talking about low cost, but I think most of what you have talked about is actually free cost. So I think it's all the more better. I just want to quickly just wrap up with what we talked on one point. So since there are so many different mediums, right, online and offline, and obviously you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, you don't want to go all in one channel, but at the same time you don't want to try 10 different channels, you don't have the budget or the people necessary. So would you recommend just choosing 2 or 3 touch points?
Absolutely. So that is one thing I always say: if you have a limited budget, try only limited stuff, but do it very, very effectively. Because what happens if you do many stuff with a small thing, you will never come to know the effectiveness. Because you then realize, you know what, I did this campaign, but I didn't spend more money. If I would have spent more money, I would have get much better result. Start with concentrated 2 or 3 things, right? If you have a budget of 1 lakh, you can say, I will spend some amount of money in digital, some amount of social media, that's it. See how people are responding. When you know the people, what kind of people are responding, then you start building on top of that, right? So whereas you try 10 different offline stuff, anything offline, if something which is free, keep on doing it parallelly, but anything paid, do limited stuff to start off with, right? Be patient. Right? Marketing is, a lot of people assume that I have a magic wand just because of my experience and I'll get something in 24 hours. It doesn't happen. What works well in one industry may not work well. Same strategy may not work well in the another industry, right? So you have to do customization, you have to do tailor-made. But just because of my experience, I'm able to tell to the people this will work, this will not work, because I've seen that in the past. So limited stuff, but do it effectively.
And how much time should we actually give these experiments to understand whether it's effective?
There's no limit, but I myself, let's say if I'm doing a digital marketing campaign, I would probably, before taking any decision, I will run it for at least 15 to 20 days. Right? I'll also see what cost the lead is coming, and I also get into the detail of how the salespeople are converting those leads, what is the feedback they're giving, because seldom what happens is that let's say if you take an agency, he will give you the leads, but they're not bothered how the leads are being managed,
right?
Because I've given you 100 leads, but I as a marketing, I would want to know how the leads have been treated.
Right? Is it like converting or not?
And if it is not, why? And if it is yes, why? Yes. So that my next campaign, I will probably take these inputs and do more focus stuff.
Okay, great. So you are recommending minimum maybe 15 days at least. Otherwise, too less.
In the digital world, right. And in the offline world, it can be like, for example, if let's say you have a good offer to make, put a pan in the newspaper. Within 24 hours, you'll get the result. If it doesn't come, it doesn't come. So every medium has its own thing, like right.
On timelines.
Correct. Facebook, I would rather give much bigger time, because you have to run like a campaign. You can't just put one post and then go silent.
Right.
You have to be visible every day.
Right.
At least 3 to 4 posts in a week is what you should do.
Right.
But it is very important, because I have seen in my thing, you post in the morning, you have different results. You post in the afternoon, you have different results. You post in the evening, you have different results. Every day you have to watch out what's happening.
Right. Okay, great. So I think we have covered so much here, and I think some of our startup listeners might be already their heads might be spinning. So we will wrap up with a couple of final questions. Now, just name like 2, or I know you can go on for a long time on marketing. You're an expert, but probably the top 2 or 3 tips and pitfalls when it comes to low cost marketing specifically?
See, obviously, I will lay my eggs on content marketing, which includes SEO, right? Back it up with some amount of digital marketing. So, what happens sometimes, the keywords that you figure it out in SEO may not be optimized fully because you're not spending some money. So, spend some money in digital marketing so that this ranking of the keywords go up. Number one, Google is out there to take money from you.
Bottomless pit, right?
Don't bid for higher keywords, right? Don't bid for it. Be patient. If there is an expert, he knows how to be, crack the best out of it. But seldom people out of the own desperation, and this is what I've seen a lot of agencies actually do that. They'll suddenly bid for the high keyword because they're not getting response, right? Make objectives very clear that I'm going to get less number of leads, but I'm going to get more quality leads. Don't go after the quantity because you'll not be able to manage it.
Be like a poker player.
Yeah, absolutely.
Patience is key.
absolutely.
Don't go all in.
Absolutely. And in social media, I mean, as I said, I've already told in the past, relevant content with the relevant media. Right? Don't use the same content for all the Instagrams of the world or Twitters of the world or LinkedIn of the world or blogs of the world. Do not use the same thing unless it is a corporate announcement, which is fine, right? But try and be very customized to that medium. Define the frequency, because too much of frequency in LinkedIn may not be good, but too much of frequency in Facebook may be very nice. Right? Get people to share. Get more likes. If you have to really boost some of the posts which you think fine is doing well, do it. But make sure that you have a very good selection criteria of drop downs that Facebook provides, right? And third thing is, whenever you talk to any customer, have a feedback mechanism ready, which is very easy. It may be just 4 words or 5 words coming out of an SMS or WhatsApp or from an app. Good enough.
Right. So have that ready. Don't just call the customer and then you'll have different customers giving you different feedback on different things, and it becomes a nightmare to collate.
Absolutely.
Okay. Great tips and advice. Is there any tools, resources, books that you can recommend to us to learn more about? I know we have covered a lot of techniques, but each of these needs in-depth reading, right?
I mean, there's a lot of material which is available online. I mean, you search for the best SEO practices, best digital marketing practices. There are a lot of things that I've looked at on the Google search, where people give a lot of tips. Use that, but don't just blindly follow it, because as I said, in marketing there's nothing wrong, nothing right, and there is no uniform strategy which can be applied everywhere across industries. What strategy FMCG companies does may not be applicable for FMCD, or may not be applicable for IT companies, or may not be applicable for service-based companies, right? Read that, but then you should, unless a marketing guy knows the product and the customers, everything fails. Everything fails. So, for example, I give you the way in South, the people have the tendency of doing some kind of a research before they actually make a decision to buy a product. Whereas in you go down North India, anything which is more visible, people tend to follow it. Right? It's just because of the consumerism there.
Right.
People, they're followers. Because here, so you need to ensure how you're targeting in different aspects. Don't see that if I've worked in Bangalore, this same thing will work in Delhi. For example, in Bangalore, I would lay my bet to use radio to build up a brand, and I've done that very effectively. But I will not bet on radio in Delhi.
So understand your consumers.
Understand your consumers very well. If that is, and then once you know the customers, I'll again repeat what I said. Find out what the customers do when he wakes up in the night or morning and sleeps in the night. You will then, if you just spend 1 hour doing what he does, you will figure out there are 20-25 touch points where you can get the eyeball of a customer. Then you figure out which are the touch points that you can connect with him. Facebook free, content free, digital paid, radio paid, outdoors paid, newspaper paid. Depending on how much you are, in what stage, you can figure it out and scale up step by step.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you so much for your time. So before we close this interview, I just have one question. But before I get to that question, what's the best way to reach out to you? Not just in terms of marketing, but also just in terms of getting in touch with you. I know you've already said this in the previous episode, but sometimes listeners just don't have the time to go back and listen, so
that's fine. So first of all, I'm very open. If somebody wants to approach me and just take my advice as a pro bono, I'll be very happy to give some valuable inputs or advices wherever I can if I have some time left. And so don't feel shy. Don't say that Vineet is not going to help us or not. I'll be more than happy personally, and the best way to reach out to me is either send me an email, which is Vineet at outsourcecmo.in, or you can call me on my mobile number 9880216421. I think that both of them will also be displayed below.
I'll be putting it on the show notes,
right?
And also Twitter, Facebook, and
LinkedIn, right?
So I'll put all those on the show notes page. So guys, don't be shy, but of course, don't bother him with very silly questions. He might just ignore you.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
So Vineet, thank you so much for offering your pro bono help for startups. I think it's really great. We have founders like you, in the ecosystem that kind of really helps startups. I've met a lot of founders like yourself, and they're all very willing and open, and I think that's great. Startup ecosystem is developing due to people like...
it's a very fair principle. If the ecosystem develops, if we help each other, everybody gets benefited in the long term. If we become very commercial oriented to start off with, then startups cannot, survive or scale up.
Right.
So it is in my interest that many startups succeed.
Right. Excellent. So Vineet, this is how I close my interviews. So one gyan, I'm not going to say that nothing will air, everything will air, but some people might just not have the patience to listen to the full interview. They might just scroll to the end to listen to your one gyan. So what would your one gyan with regards to low cost marketing would be?
First of all, don't start marketing immediately. Get the beta testing done, right? Get the first set of customers from your own network, and then start basic marketing, right? Define the stage. Don't say that I've got the product ready and I'm going to start marketing. Get your close user group to use that product. Then the first set of customers, be very miser in spending. Like I said, I always advise, don't spend more than 1 lakh a month for doing thing. Do it on a very low scale. Just follow what I've told it in the past. Pick up some points from that. Do less things. Target smaller geographies to start with rather than bigger geographies, but do it very, very effectively. And you don't want to hire a team, I'm there to work for you. Let me know, we'll make it happen for you.
Okay, excellent, Vineet. Thank you so much for your time, and it was a pleasure chatting with you once again.
Thank you very much, Ram.
There you have it, folks. Hopefully another interesting topic for you guys. Do give us your feedback over at foundersgyan.com/EP71, which also contains the show notes and links to all that we talk about on the show. Also, do share this with your friends if you like the show. I'll be back next week with yet another startup founder and an interesting topic. In the meantime, Happy New Year 2017, and wish you all the very best for your own startup success this year. Bye for now.